Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining us, and welcome back to the Learn with LINX series. It's great to see so many of you joining us from all across the world, and I see a few names that have joined us before, so it's great to see you again. My name is Holly, and I'm part of the marketing team here at LINX. If you've not joined us before, over the last few years, we've organised a range of educational sessions and free virtual training webinars with many different experts. From Wireshark to DNS, introductions to BGP and IPv6, and even the basics like what is an internet exchange and the LINX portal, we've covered them all. These can be watched back in your own time over on our YouTube channel. All you have to do is search for @LINX Network. This session is also being recorded and we'll have it up on our YouTube channel shortly. So in a minute, I'll pass you over to our product expert, Mike Hellers, but I do have to let you know about a little bit of housekeeping beforehand. This is a webinar, so if you'd like to ask a question, get them over to us by using the Q&A button on the banner of your Zoom page. I'll ask these questions to Mike during the webinar, so don't wait for these until the end. We've covered a wide range of topics and we think this benefits the community, but we want to hear from you. So please email marketing@linx.net with your topic suggestions, or you can even add them to the chat. It might also spur on some other ideas, and we'd love to collaborate with you. Now, enough of me. I'll pass you over to Mike for today's session. Mike, over to you.
Thank you, Holly, and hello everybody for joining us for this session. This some of you might have seen previous webinars from me. This one is going to be a little bit different. There are no slides. This is all about our portal, self-service functionality, and what you can do with our portal. So this is all going to be me showing you the portal, trying to do live demos on the portal. And we all know nothing has ever gone wrong when somebody tries to do a live demo. So I'm sure nothing will go wrong today either. Famous last words. I'm going to switch between different versions of our portal, since for some of the demos, to make them a little bit more interactive, I'm actually going to use our internal development version UAT platform to allowing me to kind of go through orders or changes to services, and other things. I'm going to use the live production, the member portal that is there. So we'll see how this is going to work. And as Holly already mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to raise them in Zoom right away and interrupt us, since it's a little bit harder to go back to look at a specific issue that you might have a question with. So let me share my screen and let's go from there. You should hopefully see my screen. You should see the portal. So what you see here, as I said, so this is an internal version of our portal, development version of our portal, that I'm going to use for a lot of the demonstrations, that we're gonna try and do them live and see what it works. I hope most of you, especially obviously if you're an existing member of LINX, you probably know our portal, you probably have used it. If not, I'm going to start with just a quick overview of the different areas in the portal and the different functionality that's available. And actually, to do that, let me already start straight away with going to the production version first, just to make sure we show you some more real data. So this is, again, it will look very, very similar. This is just production, currently logged in as LINX, so we know some of the service that you see, but the main areas really in the portal, it is all about your services, the service that you have with LINX. This was already a bad idea to start with, since this is our own services. We have loads of services in there, but in the end, you probably have seen this. It will show you all of the ports you have, and you can select the port, the service, whatever it is, and it will show you the traffic data on that service. But we'll come back to a lot of this at the later stage. For some of the what we call port-based services, i.e. services that you can add on top of your physical ports, outside of the peering service, Those are things like private VLAN, closed user groups, Cloud Connect services. You can find additional information here. And again, these are internal services, but they're good as an example. What the portal shows you for these, and it also gives you some additional functionality there. If it's a closed user group, obviously a closed user group will allow you to invite other members to join your closed user group. That's functionality that's here. You can modify them. Similar for Cloud Connect services or the Microsoft peering service, map service. You get additional data from here. Then there is, if you have co-location services through LINX, you will find those here. In this case, it doesn't show, but if you have co-location racks in different data centers, you will find these here at the same time as any of the cabling cross connects for those racks. And if you're using the LINX PI service, private interconnect service, for those who don't know it, that's a physical cross connects, managed cross connect service that we offer in some of our London sites, specifically on the Telehouse campus and in Sovereign House. But again, just to show an example how that would look like if you use it, the way API works, you buy bundles of fibers between your rack and one of our racks. In Telehouse, these are bundles of 8 pairs of fibers, and on the portal, you would see again, this is the LINX service. It will show you if the fibers are in use, and if they are in use, to which other member they go, and it allows you to modify these changes, i.e. request cancellation and so on. So that's really the services area, probably the area that gets most use for members on our portal. We're going to come back to those much more when we go through some of the orders actually. So let me just quickly jump there. The order area on the portal, obviously we would think that's a very important one. This is where it allows you to order your initial services or any additional services as you go along, and that's basically covers all of these services that we offer, and we're going to go through this in much more details. We have the members area, which basically shows you some important information. The first one, which actually is publicly available, it's the list of all of our members of all of the networks connected to the peering LANs, and their details, i.e. their IP addresses, how much capacity they are connected to. You can easily search this list. You can also use some of the filtering that's available on the list to make it much more accessible, i.e. if you're just interested in a specific LAN, and just turn it on and restrict it to that LAN. There's a lot of flexibility, and of course, if you want, you can also just export the list as a CSV file and use it wherever you want to access it. The private interconnect, this just will show you the members which are using our PI service. Obviously mainly useful if you're also using it. And the no contacts, I'm not going to click on this since it will show the not contact details and phone numbers for any member that is connected to LINX. As this video is being recorded, I obviously don't want not contact details to be in that recording, but that's available there, and it's only accessible if you're logged in. Then of course we have the event section. That's also available. You see at the moment quite a few events which are part of the changes that we're proposing to our MOU, now membership agreement. That's there, and there's a link to the LINX community site, which you can go on there directly from here, and it's going to lock you in using your portal login. That's just a quick overview. the portal also gives you direct links to a number of other tools. You have direct links to the looking glass for either the root servers or the root collectors. We can probably spend another webinar at some point focusing on what you can do with the looking glass, all the benefits you can get out of it. You have visibility of any maintenances or outage notifications that you will get if you subscribe to the mailing list, but you can also access them directly through the portal at any point in time. IXP Watch gives you a little bit of visibility of data we are collecting, since peering LANs, they are layer 2 LANs. And it's really a bit of troubleshooting information that you can get access to. Information about the IX API that is available for any member or partner of LINX. Again, a topic on its own, not going to focus too much time on the number of graphs. Again, root server related graphs, which also can be useful for troubleshooting purposes if you think there might be a concern, and you either have these overview graphs, or you can specifically go down and only look at the details for a specific LAN that you're interested in, and it will show you number of prefixes currently visible on the root service, numbers of sessions, and so on. Those are the most recent ones. You also always have a list of the last members who have connected to any of the peering LANs, and then your own. This will clearly look different for your own graphs, but it basically shows you a list of your top peers, so that the networks that you peer with, which have the highest amount of traffic. That's really just a quick overview. I'm just going to focus on one more thing without showing it too much. But up here in the account session, if you have the permissions, you will have access to your billing information, meaning you will see your invoices. You can download the invoice from there. You also see the status of the invoice, if it has been paid or not, and very importantly, the user section where you can maintain any of your users who have access to the portal and what permissions they have. For those of you who were at our last member meeting last week, LINX 123, we made a number of changes on that section to give more flexibility in the control that you have over your users and which roles they have, which ones are primary. So I definitely invite you to have a look there, and actually probably on a regular basis check if the users that you have defined and linked to your account, if they're up to date and if they have the correct roles. As we go along over time, we're probably gonna make more use of the different roles and the permissions that they give you through the portal. That's really just a very quick overview for those of you who haven't used our portal as much, what you can do on the portal. But today, the focus is really going to be, even though I've already talked 10 minutes, focus is really going to be on the self-service capability of the portal and what you can do if you are a member and you have services on our portal. As I said, I'm gonna try to do these on our internal development version of the portal and show a couple of things, a couple of examples that you can do with your service. We're going to start with something very easy, but something that happens. Probably anybody who's connected to an exchange, there might always be a reason. I don't know. You have to replace the equipment at your site. And like pretty much every exchange, our ports are configured to strictly filter on the MAC address of your device. You're only allowed one MAC address. These are all measures to maintain, to protect the peering LANs, since after all, they're very large layer 2 LANs. So there's a strict filter by MAC address. So if you change the equipment at your end, I don't know, you had a failure on your router and you need to change the port or move it to a different port where the MAC address is going to change, you need to tell us that your MAC address has changed in order for your port to work. If you just change it, you're not gonna be able to establish any traffic. And you can do this very very easily through the portal yourself at any point in time, so you don't have to even talk to our NOC if you can do it straight away through the portal. Let's just take this example here. So this is an 100 gig port. It has a 30 gig peering service on it. The MAC address is clearly linked to the peering service. And so if we just go to edit service on this service, you will see, and you will see that you're going to become quite familiar with the look and feel of these. They all look the same. So this is a peering service, it's a logical service. There's basically only two things that I can change if I go onto that service. I could change the bandwidth, which we're not going to do in this example, or I can change the MAC address on the port. So let's just do this, and what could go wrong? And let's do this. It will validate the MAC address, and it's going to do a number of checks. So first, it will validate that it's the format is correct, but it will also validate if it's a duplicate, since again you couldn't have the same MAC address on multiple ports. So there's a number of checks that are done in the background. If you put it in, it will tell you that if you do it like this, it basically go and do it immediately. So as soon as, well, not as soon as I click submit order, it's going to ask me, I can put in a reference, which is really just for your own information. And if you want to, you can add email addresses of other people that you want to be copied on all of the updates that the system is going to send during the order. It also shows you in a bit of a summary the changes that it's going to do. Obviously, there's no changes to the cost and in your order prices that you see in all of these, since again it's an internal UAT version. The prices are not necessarily the real ones, but you can see the only change that you're actually doing with this order, if we call it an order, is that the old MAC address, and it's going to replace it with this new MAC address. So as soon as you click submit on this order in the backend, it will do a number of validations, and it will actually go and change the configuration at our site. So we'll go and change the configuration of your port at our site, and it will be immediate. When I say immediate, it will take a couple of minutes in real time. So we'll see how quickly it's going to be on this one. As you can see here, it has confirmed the order is submitted. MAC address will change, and you can go back to order details, which is going to bring you back to the orders page. You can always get there from here and show you the status where it currently is. So currently it tells you starting inventory changes, what that means. The first step that it does, it updates our internal systems where all the information about your service is stored. We'll see how quickly it is going to be. It shouldn't take very long, especially here. We'll give it a minute or two for this to happen. As I said, you can always, if for whatever reason you go anywhere else, you can always get back to it. If you go to the orders page, you can see all of your past orders are here, and the count one, which is here, it's currently moved on to the next step, and it's now doing the changes on the network. So it's basically now pushing out the configuration to the corresponding switch router where your port is connected. Again, you might know we're using a number of different network platforms on our different peering LANs. They're either Nokia, they're Juniper, they might be EdgeCore. This works on all of them. And there we go. It has completed the change. It will have also emailed you the different steps, and it basically confirms that the service was updated and the new MAC address has been applied. So in this case, that's pretty much in real time what you would expect if you do a small change like changing your MAC address, and you can do it at any point in time. Obviously, as you have seen, if you do this while you already have changed your MAC address, then this would mean your service will work again. If it's a planned work and you know you have a maintenance during the night where you're going to replace your card or move your port, well, you know this is what you need to do. Any of your engineers can log onto the portal and do that change. Should anything happen, of course, our NOC is always there 24/7 to come and respond to that and help you out should anything not work. So the next step that we're going to do, that we're going to try and do live, is we take an existing service, and as you know, we're offering the peering service in a number of different bandwidths. If you have a 10 gig port, for an example, if you have a 10 gig port, and you might have a 10 gig peering service on it, or you might have a smaller bandwidth. You might just have a 1 gig peering service on it, which is what's included in your membership fee. You'll get a 10 gig port and a 1 gig peering service. But if you already know, well, my traffic levels are probably going to increase at a certain point in time, you can at any point in time go onto the portal and adjust the bandwidth of that peering service to correspond to your needs. Currently, on a 10 gig port, you can either have a 1 gig, 2 gig, 5 gig, or 10 gig peering service on them. We have also announced our changes for our services and the service fees for next year. So actually, starting from January 1st, you will have even more flexibility. You can basically pick any bandwidth option between 1 and 10 gig, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 gig to give you much more flexibility. The same on 100 gig peering services, where currently on 100 gig ports, you can only have 30 gig or 100 gig. We're also changing that by allowing you to do 30 gig, 50 gig, or 100 gig, again, to give you more flexibility and use your port at the bandwidth that best suits your current demands. And you can change this at any point in time. And if it's an existing service, again, similar as for the MAC change, the change will happen pretty much immediately. So if we look at this one, for example, and it's going to be very similar to what we have just done, I can go to edit service. I'm not going to change the MAC address here, so I just leave it unchanged. Currently, this is a 5 gig service. Let me just downgrade this one to a 1 gig service. Again, ignore the actual price that you see here, but as you can see, it will have adjusted the pricing as you choose your bandwidth. It will always show you the real price. As I say, this is test data, but in this case, it actually does know that the 1 gig peering service would be included. So in this case, it shows you what your new monthly fees would be. And this should be true for all of the services, and it will adjust accordingly. So we've changed it to 1 gig. It shows it here. So we're now going to have 1 gig, and it's 4 gig less than before. Let's submit this order, and same as before, you can put in a reference if you want to, and copy in some of your colleagues if you want to, or copy in your finance department, or whoever you think might be interested in getting an update. You confirm again that that you're authorized to place this order. You're committing, you're really placing the order, since again, the change will happen immediately, which is what it will tell you here. You will get a confirmation. It confirms that this is a self-service order. If for whatever reasons we might be doing maintenance on a switch, or there might be some irregularities on some of the data, it would tell you that, oh, sorry, this is going to be a manual order, and in that case, it will get passed on to our 24/7 NOC to to handle the order manually. But for most of these changes, it will confirm that this is a self-service, and the change is actually going to happen immediately. Which again, you see this already. Looks the same way that what you saw for the MAC address change. Same step. First step is validating the data and updating our internal systems to reflect this. And in hopefully not too long, it's going to go through the next step. Depending on the type of changes that you do, there might be additional tests that we do, or for some changes, a port needs to go into the quarantine LAN first, where we check if we see any invalid traffic from your side. But again, the portal is going to keep you up to date on the status and where it is, and if it's progressing or if it's waiting for you. If you order a new port, obviously there needs to be a physical connection, and in that case it will provide you the LOA, and you can go back and confirm, yes, I have ordered the cross connect and connected it, and you can see all of those things and progress the order in here. And as we can see here, it has progressed in the meantime. That all of our internal tests have completed. Data is fine, and it's now provisioning the change. And shortly after, it's going to confirm us that it has completed the change. And in this case, it will have downgraded your bandwidth from, there we go, it will have downgraded your bandwidth from 5 gig to 1 gig. And that's as simple as it is. In this case also, since this is just a logical service, that means also your billing will change based on the date when this has been done. Again, it shows you how simple it is to make changes to your services through the portal. Looking at the time, we're trying to keep this around half an hour, 40 minutes. So let's do one more example of a service that you can order. Let's say I want to use a private VLAN between myself and another member on the same peering LAN. Well, I can simply go here and order a port-based service. Maybe I could, but I'll come back a little bit to this page before. So what I want to order is a private VLAN. Let me just choose the test setup that we have here. So this is where you would choose your peering LAN where you're connected to in this case. So in this case, this is our internal test scenario. I just want a 50 meg service, but as similar as before, you know it by now. You can choose the bandwidth that you need. Actually, let's do 200 meg private VLAN, similar as what you're used to. It will update the pricing. It will show you the pricing immediately, what you're gonna expect to see, and it then will give you a number of options based on the ports that you currently have available. So what you can see here is you can either order a new port for this service, might be what you want to do, or it offers you to use one of your existing ports. Now you see, and I'm not sure if you saw it, but this test member, he has 4 different ports on, actually has a couple of ports on here, and you can see some of them are not available to select here. So what's happening here is that by default, when we configure a new port, we configure them as an access port, which really means you can have one service on it. There's no encapsulation, so no .1q encapsulation. Obviously, if you would want to add additional services, so use the port for not only peering, but use it for peering, a private VLAN, maybe Cloud Connect or Microsoft peering, you would have to change the port, the encapsulation of the port to .1q. And you can do that for existing ports, and it would guide you through the process. And as you can see here, it will tell you. So currently, this port you cannot use it, but you see that actually, but there would be bandwidth available, but I currently can't use it um, um, since it's an access port. It doesn't have .1q encapsulation, but you could change it, and the same way as before when we changed the bandwidth, you can do this change completely through self-service. It obviously requires us to change our side, but also you to change the configuration at your end on the router. So if we change it to .1q at our end, you will have to do the same at your end. And until the two are changed, your service is not going to work. So ideally, you want to do this from your side, doing a planned maintenance window when you know you're going to take your service, your peering service out of service. And since there will be a short outage, and the length of the outage really depends on the time it takes you and us to have the ports configured at the same way. And the process is going to guide you through it. It's going to start the work. It's going to stop you and basically allow you to confirm, okay, you have configured your side. Please go ahead and make the change at our side. To keep it short here, I'm going to use an existing port that is already set up as .1q for ordering this private VLAN service. Now, a private VLAN service, it's a private VLAN. It's point-to-point link, so we need two ends. So the first thing we do is we choose this port at our end, and we go to the next step. I can give it a name. Again, that's your choice what you want to call it. I need to allocate it a VLAN ID. So that's the VLAN ID that the service is going to show up on your port. And then I need to basically tell the service what is the other member. The other member could be you, to be honest. You can also order a private VLAN between two of your own ports. But in this case, we're gonna use a second member. Obviously, this is internal, so there's no necessary. You don't have to. If you don't put an email address in there, it will basically look up who is the primary contact, the guardian contact, and it will use that to do this. So basically, you're inviting. Yeah, okay. Let's not do this. Let's leave it empty, and it will use the default. Again, you already know, you have seen this before, looks very similar. It confirms you what the fees are going to be for this service. You can put in your own order reference, might be your PO number. As always, add on other members, other staff members of yours that you want to be copied on the order, on the progress of the order. And we submit the order. Again, it's confirmed that you're formally placing an order, and the provisioning will start immediately. Now, obviously, it can't really start immediately, and it gives you an explanation what's actually going to happen now. So if we go back to this order here, you can see that it's doing the usual step, updating our internal systems, but nothing really is going to happen after here, since there is no point of us configuring one end of the service until the other side has confirmed, i.e. the second member has confirmed that he's okay and he wants to have this service. So let me just switch to the other member. So let me drag in a second browser. So here I'm now logged in as that demo member 2. And he will have received an email notification but he can also see in his order page that he has received an invitation to join a PVLAN. And he can, in this case, view and confirm. Now, this is a bit, this might be unusual since some of our members, they are only connected through a connections partner. Other members have a direct port. Obviously, if you don't have a direct port, well, this wouldn't be the right thing. If you're connected through one of our resellers, one of our connections partners, you can do this. You would click this button. It allows you to choose the connections partner, and basically what it does, it will pass the invite onto your reseller, to your connections partner, since he will have to do the work. But we'll leave that out here. We're assuming we're using our own port. So very similar to when I looked at my own port, I will have the same. I have the same options here. It shows me I can either order a new port. I can choose one of the existing ports. These two are both valid. Let's choose the 10 gig port here. It's .1q encapsulation already, so it's perfectly fine. And I click next step. Obviously, that second member, he needs to set the VLAN ID. Again, that's the VLAN ID at his site, whatever he wants to use for it. There are some restrictions, but there we go. Confirm it. Very similar. Don't have to go through it. He see the charges that he would get at his end, which is really just a charge for the bandwidth of the private VLAN at his end. And if that all looks okay, he can submit the order from his end. That's going to trigger the process now to continue at the other end, since now we have both details. So the second member will see it, will see the order progressing in his portal, and hopefully, so we're back to our initial member, the member who actually placed it. You can see here that the latest update that we had was that we're waiting for the other participant, so member 2, to accept the invitation, and hopefully shortly after this, the order will progress, and it will do the end-to-end setup and provision the service end-to-end. The way while we're waiting, the way we actually implement private VLANs or closed user group, they are just their own layer 2 instance dedicated for your service. Obviously, as they are dedicated to yourselves, we're not going to allocate you any IP addresses. That's all in your hands. It's purely a layer 2 point-to-point link that you get. The same if it's a closed user group. It's basically your own personal layer 2 instance on our network. Let's see how we are progressing here. And yes, it has moved on to the provisioning of the service. So shortly after, it will confirm. There we go. Yes, you get the picture. So this is how it works. Looking at the time, I think that's pretty much all of the examples we're gonna do today in this webinar. But hopefully it has given you a pretty good idea of how simple, how easy it is to use our portal to order services, make changes to services, add logical services, private VLANs, or whatever you want, change the bandwidth, upgrade them, downgrade them as you need them, to really allowing you to make the best use of the capacity that you have connected to LINX and get the best out of it. Yeah, I think that covers what we wanted to cover today. We're probably going to come back and in the future do similar webinars where we go into more details of specific services, what you can do, how it works. But hopefully this was useful. If there are any questions, we can answer them now, or contact us at any point in time, especially if you're watching a recording of this webinar at a later point. We're always here to help. We're always here to help you make best use of your LINX services. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you all for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this session. Remember, if you have any other webinar topic suggestions, please get in contact with us by emailing marketing@linx.net and we'll look into it for you. We have some really interesting and informative webinars coming up, so keep an eye on our events page on our website to find out where we are in the world and what free sessions we have coming up next. So thank you very much for attending our webinar, and we hope to see you again soon.